Toma lived in a small wooden house near Vale Ridge. His home stood alone at the edge of the forest, where tall trees whispered in the wind. He had lived there since his parents passed away. Toma was not rich, but he had peace, quiet, and his small farm. He spent most of his time growing vegetables, repairing tools, or walking through the woods with his dog, Rin. One night, while Toma was fixing a broken fence, the sky suddenly flashed. A burning line of red and blue light shot across the stars. It made no sound, but the light was bright enough to turn night into day for a few seconds. Then came the shock. The ground shook beneath his feet. Birds flew out of the trees, Rin barked, and ran in circles. Toma looked toward the hills and saw smoke rising behind the ridge. He tied a rope across his chest, grabbed his flashlight, and ran. Rin followed close behind. They moved through the trees, past fallen logs and narrow trails, until they reached the far side of the ridge. Smoke hung in the air like fog. The smell of metal and fire filled the forest dot in the middle of a small clearing. A strange object had crashed. It was not a plane. It was shaped like a smooth silver leaf, broken at one side. Sparks flew from its body, and the ground around it was burned black. It pulsed with faint blue lights, like it was still alive. Toma stepped closer. The air felt heavy. Rin growled low. Then he saw her. A figure crawled out from the cracked opening of the ship. She was small, thin, and her skin gave off a soft silver glow. Her hair was pale, almost white, and her eyes were large and bright like stars. She looked weak, barely able to move. She held a small glowing crystal in her hand. She took one step forward, stumbled, and collapsed into the grass. Toma ran to her side. He checked her breath. She was alive, but barely. Her skin felt cool like river stone. Her eyes opened a little. She looked at him and whispered something he could not understand. The crystal in her hand began to glow brighter. Then, to his surprise, her voice changed. It became clear, though still quiet. "Please help me," she said. Toma blinked. He had never seen anything like this before. He looked around. No one else was there. The crash was far from town. If he left her here, she might die or get taken by someone who would not help her. He made a choice. Toma picked her up carefully. She was lighter than he expected. Rin barked once, but followed as Toma carried the strange girl back through the forest. Back at the farm, Toma laid her down in the old barn. He brought blankets, water, and his mother's medicine box. He cleaned the cuts on her arms and wrapped her wounds. She didn't speak again that night. Her crystal glowed softly beside her, pulsing with her breath. Rin sat beside the barn door, watching the wind. Toma stayed up all night. He couldn't sleep. Questions filled his mind. Who was she? Where did she come from? What was that thing she crashed in? Was she alone? He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but he knew one thing. The world had just changed, and it began with a soft whisper in the forest. The morning sun rose slowly over Vale Ridge. Light filled the barn through the wooden slats. Birds sang in the trees. Toma sat near the barn door, watching the girl sleep. Her silver skin looked softer now. The crystal beside her still glowed, though not as bright as before. Rin lay beside Toma, ears up, always alert. After some time, the girl opened her eyes. She looked around, then at Toma. She tried to sit up, but her body was still weak. Toma quickly helped her sit against a blanket. "Where am I?" she asked. Her voice was quiet but clear. "You're safe," Toma said. "This is my barn. I found you in the woods after your ship crashed." The girl looked at him, eyes wide and calm. "You helped me," she said. Toma nodded. "Yes." She touched her crystal. It gave a gentle hum. She looked down at it, then back at him. "My name is Nira," she said slowly. Toma blinked. He didn't expect a name like that. It sounded soft and strange, like wind through trees. "I'm Toma," he said. "And that's Rin." Rin wagged his tail, watching her with curious eyes. Nira smiled. "You are kind." Toma felt awkward. He had never talked to someone like her before. He looked at the crystal in her hand. "What is that?" he asked. "This is a talk stone," she replied. "It helps me speak your words." He nodded. "Are you hurt?" My body is tired, but I will heal, she said. I thank you. Toma stood and poured some water into a bowl. He handed it to her. She held it gently and drank with careful sips. You came from space, he asked. Yes, she said. I am Valari. Valari, Toma repeated. My people live far from here. We are peaceful. I was sent to study new planets, but my ship was attacked. By who? He asked. She looked down. The Thorn. Toma had never heard that name before. They're not from Earth. No, they are not from here. They hate the Valari. They chase us across the stars. Toma sat beside her, thinking. He looked at her thin arms, her tired face, and the way her hands shook slightly. So you crashed here while escaping? Yes, she said. I tried to hide. My ship was small and fast, but they hit me before I reached safety. The crash broke many things. I cannot call my people. The Thar may still follow. Toma frowned. If they come here, will they hurt others? Yes, she said. They do not care who stands in their way. Toma felt a chill run down his back. He looked out the barn door. The sky was quiet now. There were no ships or lights. But that didn't mean they weren't out there. You need to stay hidden, he said. Yes, Nira said. He stood. I'll bring food. Later that day, Toma gave her some bread and fruit. Nira did not eat fast. She studied the food first, then took small bites. I have never tasted anything like this, she said. Toma smiled a little. It's just normal food here. It is good, she said. After eating, she asked many questions. She wanted to know about Earth, the animals, the people, the sky. Toma answered as best as he could. He told her about his farm, the village nearby, and the school he once attended. He told her about stories his father used to read to him. Nira listened with great interest. Your world is different from mine, she said. But it is beautiful. Toma looked at her. Is your world beautiful too? Yes, she said. It is blue trees and silver rivers. The sky is purple during the day. At night, our stars shine close. My people live in floating cities above the ground. We do not harm nature. He tried to imagine it, but it felt like something from a dream. You miss your home? He asked. Nira nodded slowly. Yes, I miss my family. I miss my sky. A quiet moment passed between them. The wind outside blew gently through the grass. Toma finally said, We'll figure something out. You won't be alone. That night, Toma gave Nira a blanket and more water. He made sure no one could see inside the barn. Then he sat outside. With Rin, watching the stars, he could not believe what was happening. An alien girl had crashed near his home. She was peaceful, gentle, and scared. And now, dangerous enemies might come looking for her. But somehow, Toma didn't feel afraid. He felt responsible. Nira had trusted him. She had no one else. He looked up at the sky. Somewhere out there, the Thorn were flying, and maybe her people were searching to. He whispered, You're safe here, Nira. I promise. And behind him, from the quiet barn, a soft light pulsed like a heartbeat. 3 days passed since the crash. Nira had grown stronger. She could walk now, though slowly. Her wounds were healing. The crystal around her neck still glowed, but dimmer than before. Toma made sure she stayed hidden in the barn. He brought her food, water, and blankets. Every evening, they sat together and talked. Nira told him more about her people, the Valari. She said they traveled through the stars using light paths. They believed in peace and balance with nature. Her mission was simple. She came to observe Earth quietly, but before she could finish, the Thorn found her. The Thorn are hunters. Nira said one night, They are cold. They take what they want. They see peace as weakness. Toma listened carefully. Why did they follow you here? They don't want the Valari to meet Earth. They want to rule it first. Toma's eyes narrowed. Earth has no idea what's coming. Nira nodded. They moved slowly. They watched before they strike. The next day, strange things began to happen. Toma turned on the radio in his house, but it made only static noise. His phone stopped working. The local news station on his old TV showed broken signals. Even the sky looked strange that night. A soft red shimmer moved across the stars, almost too faint to see. Nira stood beside him at the window. Her voice was calm, but serious. "They're here." Toma turned to her. "The Thorn?" "Yes," she said. "They're scanning for me." Toma looked out at the dark sky. No ships, no lights, but he believed her. "What do we do?" he asked. "We. Stay quiet. They will search from above first, but soon they may come down." Toma had never faced anything like this. He wasn't a soldier. He was a farmer. But he didn't run. He looked at Nira and nodded. "You're not alone," he said. That night, Nira explained something strange. "There's a way to hide me fully," she said. "A bond." Toma looked at her. "A bond, in my people's ways, a bond is a link, a deep trust. It connects us through the talk stone. If we bond, your mind becomes a shield. I can hide behind it." Toma didn't speak right away. It sounded serious. "Will it hurt?" "No," Nira said. "But it is not small. The bond lets us feel each other's thoughts, not everything, just the strong feelings, fear, joy, truth, lies. You will sense me. I will sense you." Toma sat down, thinking, "Why me?" "Because you helped me. You protected me without knowing who I was. My crystal sees truth. You are honest. You care. That is enough." She paused. Then she looked into his eyes. In a soft whisper, "I now ask, will you form a bond with me, human?" Toma looked at her. He saw no trick, no danger, only hope. He gave a small nod. "Yes." The bond ceremony was simple. Nira removed a smaller crystal from her necklace. She placed it in Toma's hand. "Hold it. Do not let go." The crystal felt warm, like a living thing. It pulsed gently in his palm. "Close your eyes," Nira said. Toma did. He felt a strange light move through his mind. It was not painful. It was like a breeze, touching his thoughts, his memories. He saw flashes, images of Nira's world, silver, rivers, floating cities, bright skies. Then he felt something else, her fear, her loneliness, her deep wish to be safe. In return, Nira saw him, a boy who lost his parents, a boy who lived with quiet strength, a boy who never turned away from someone in need. The bond settled. The crystal faded into his skin. A small mark remained, glowing faintly on his palm. They opened their eyes at the same time. "It is done," she said. Toma felt a quiet connection, like Nira was standing beside his thoughts. She didn't speak in his mind, but he could feel her presence, calm and steady. The next morning, Rim barked loudly. Toma rushed outside. A strange sound filled the air, like metal humming. In the distance, above the forest, something floated. A dark shape moved slowly across the sky. Not a plane, not a helicopter. It was smooth and silent. Toma ran back to the barn. "They're here," he said. Nira stood up. Her hand reached for her talk stone. "The bond will keep me hidden for now. But if they send scouts, we must be ready." "We don't have weapons," Toma said. "We don't need weapons," Nira replied. "We need cleverness." Toma looked around. He had tools, wires, fuel, old batteries, and his father's tool shed. "I can make traps," he said. Nira gave a small smile. "Then make them. They won't expect Earth to fight back." That evening, Toma worked hard. He built tripwires using thin rope and empty cans. He rigged noise traps with fuel sparks and pressure plates. He placed mirrors to reflect light in strange ways. Every small thing could help confuse or slow the enemy. Nira helped by guiding him. Her knowledge of machines allowed him to set signals to scramble sensors. She taught him how to make a simple shield using parts from her broken ship. They worked like a team. The bond helped. They moved together without many words. When one thought of an idea, the other understood quickly. As the sun set, Toma stood beside the barn with Rin. Nira stood beside him. "Do you think it will work?" he asked. "We must believe it will," she said. He nodded. Above them, the sky grew darker. The Thorn were coming, and Earth would not stay silent. The night was calm, but Toma could feel the tension in the air. The forest round the farm was silent. Even the crickets had stopped singing. It was the kind of silence That comes before something dangerous. Inside the barn, the light from Nira's crystal glowed brighter than before. The bond they had formed was now active, and Toma could feel it. It was not loud. It was like a quiet voice far in the back of his mind. He didn't hear words, but he felt her presence, like standing beside a warm fire. Nira sat across from him on a small blanket. Her silver skin reflected the soft light. She looked more calm now. Her wounds had healed faster since the bond. She smiled softly. "Your mind is strong," she said. Toma looked at the mark on his hand. The crystal had left a small circle on his palm. It glowed faint blue. "I feel you close," he said, "even when you're not speaking." "That is the bond," she replied. "We are linked now. The thorn cannot see me as long as I stay near you. The bond hides my signal." "But what if they come anyway?" Toma asked. "They will search. They may guess, but they cannot find me unless I leave the bond's reach." Toma stood and looked out through the barn door. The sky was still dark. No stars could be seen tonight. A thick cloud covered everything. "I want to be ready," he said. "You are ready," Nira replied. "You have something the Thorn do not understand." "What is that?" "Heart." All day, Toma worked on improving the defenses around the farm. He placed mirrors at different angles so they would reflect lights if any scout drones came. He used an old battery from his father's tractor to power a trap that could release sparks in the air. Nira helped him with wires and circuits. She showed him how to use pieces from her ship to build a field that could confuse nearby sensors. It was small, but it could hide the barn if the enemy used scanning tools. They worked side by side, understanding each other more with every hour. They didn't need to speak much. The bond made communication easy. When Toma had an idea, Nira would already begin moving to help him with it. When Nira felt nervous, Toma would feel it too and offer comfort. That evening, as they sat under the old tree near the barn, Toma finally asked a question that had been in his mind. "What happens after this? When the Thorn leave?" Nira looked at the stars. "If they leave, I will call my people. They will come for me, and you'll go back." She looked at him. "Yes, that is my home." Toma nodded slowly. He didn't say anything more. He didn't want her to feel sad. But deep inside, he felt a small pain. He knew she didn't belong here. Still, it would not be easy to see her leave. That night, a sound came from the woods. Ren growled low. Toma stood quickly. He grabbed the flashlight and looked toward the trees. Nira joined him, her crystal glowing in her hand. They saw it. A small object floated above the ground, moving slowly between the trees. It was round, made of black metal, and gave off a soft red light. It had no wings. It made no noise. It was a scout drone. Nira whispered, "They are searching." Toma watched the drone move. It passed over one of the traps he had placed. A sharp clicking sound followed, and a flash of sparks jumped into the air. The drone stopped and turned toward the trap. "Now," Nira said. Toma hit the switch for the mirror trap. A bright beam of light reflected between mirrors and confused the drone's vision. It turned in circles, lost. Then Nira threw a small metal disc from her pouch. It landed near the drone and exploded with a loud crack, sending electric waves into the air. The drone dropped to the ground, smoking. They ran to it. Toma turned it over. It was broken. Wires sparked inside. "We need to move it before more come," he said. They dragged the wreck into a deep hole behind the barn and covered it with dirt and leaves. Nira looked at him. "You were quick. That saved us." Toma gave a short nod. "There may be more." "Yes," she said. This was only one. The next morning, the sky had a strange orange color. Nira said it was a sign the Thorn ship was close, hiding above the clouds. "We must be ready," she said. Toma checked all the traps again. He tied a rope near the trees that would drop metal sheets to make noise. He tested the mirror lights. He made sure the old tractor engine still worked in case they needed to escape fast. He didn't sleep much that night. Nira sat beside him. They both stared at the dark forest. "I was afraid when I crashed here," Nira said. "But now I feel calm." "Because of the bond?" Toma asked. "Not just that," she said. Because of you. Toma looked at her. I'm not a hero. You are more than that, Nira said. You are human, and that means something powerful. He didn't understand fully, but her words stayed in his heart, above them, in the clouds. Something was waiting, and soon it would arrive. The morning air was cold and still. Clouds hung low over Vale Ridge. A strange pressure filled the sky, like something heavy was above. Even if the eye could not see it, Toma stood in the field near the barn, watching the horizon. Ren stayed close. To his side, ears raised, alert. The wind carried no birdsong. Even the trees stood quiet. Inside the barn, Nira adjusted the last piece of the sensor blocker. A thin blue line of light circled the barn walls. The device would keep her hidden from scanning rays for a short time. It was their final defense. She stepped outside and walked to Toma. They are coming, she said. Toma looked at her, then at the sky. How close? Nira closed her eyes for a moment. She touched the crystal on her chest. Very close. I can feel their energy above the clouds. Toma's hand tightened into a fist. Then we'll meet them here, in our past. Then another. Suddenly, the ground trembled slightly. A low hum began in the sky. Toma and Nira looked up. From the clouds above, a dark shape broke through. It was massive and silent. The thorn ship was shaped like a wide blade, smooth and black, with glowing red lines across its surface. It moved slowly, like a predator ready to strike. Then something detached from the bottom of the ship. It dropped quickly and landed in the forest with a heavy thud. Smoke rose from the trees. They've sent a ground unit, Nira said. Will it come here? Toma asked. Nira nodded. It will find us, soon. Toma ran back to the barn and checked every trap he had set. The mirrors were in place. The tripwires were ready. The sparks, the metal plates, and the shielded zone, they were all prepared. Nira stood near the door, holding a small silver rod. It was a tool from her ship, now modified into a short-range pulse stick. It would work once, and only if used. At the right time, they waited. The Thorn Scout walked into view just as the sun broke through the clouds. It was tall, with long arms and black armor that shimmered like oil. Its face had no eyes, only a glowing red mark. It moved without sound, like smoke in the wind. It stopped at the edge of the field and looked around. Then it stepped forward. The first trap hit. A mirror reflected sunlight straight into its face, causing it to pause. While it was distracted, the noise trap activated. Metal cans and plates dropped, making loud clanging sounds. The creature turned quickly. Confused. Toma pulled the switch for the spark trap. A burst of white fire shot into the air, and the scout stepped back. For a moment, it hesitated. But the Thorn were not weak. It raised one arm and sent out a red wave that destroyed the nearest trap. Pieces of metal flew into the air. It's learning, Nira said. Toma took a deep breath. Then we moved faster. He ran to the left side of the field, drawing the creature's attention. It followed him, slowly at first, then faster. Nira ran the other way, circling behind it. She held the pulse stick tightly. Toma reached the last trap near the old tree. He jumped behind it just in time. The scout stepped on the final wire, and a net made from strong wires fell from above. It slowed the creature for only a moment, but it was enough. Nira came from behind and pressed the pulse stick into the scout's back. A flash of white light exploded from the rod. The Thorn Scout froze. Its body shook, then dropped to its knees. The red light in its face dimmed. Then it fell, silent. Toma ran to Nira. Are you hurt? She shook her head. No, but more will come. Toma looked at the sky. The large ship above had started moving again. They know we fought back, he said. Yes, Nira said. And they won't like that. Back inside the barn, Nira activated her final device. It was a beacon hidden deep in her crystal. The bond with Toma had kept her safe. But now, to survive, she had to send a signal to her people. They will come, she said. But it may take time. Toma nodded. Then we hold the farm until they do. Nira looked at him, eyes calm but full of strength. You have done more than I expected. You're my guest. Toma said. I protect my guests. She smiled softly. No, I am your bond partner, and that means more. For a moment, they stood in silence. The danger was not gone, but something had changed. Toma was no longer just a boy from a quiet farm. He had faced something powerful and lived. He had protected someone from beyond the stars. Above them, the Thorn ship hovered, watching waiting. But Earth had given them a surprise. A human with no army. Just courage and a bond. The sun rose slowly over Vale Ridge. The morning light spilled through the trees, but the air felt heavy and tense. Toma and Nira stood outside the barn, watching the dark shape of the Thorn ship hanging low in the sky. The ship was bigger now, its red lines glowing brighter. It waited, silent but ready. Nira looked at Toma. They will try again, she said. This time, with full force. Toma clenched his fists. Then we have to be ready. The bond between them was stronger than ever. Toma could feel Nira's thoughts near his mind. She could feel his heart beating fast. They did not need to speak much. Their connection gave them strength. Inside the barn, Nira touched the damaged parts of her ship. She moved her hands over the broken panels. Suddenly, a small blue light appeared where she touched. The ship was waking up. Look, Nira said. The ship still listens to me. Toma stepped closer. Can it help us fight? Yes, Nira replied. It is old defenses. But I need your help to activate them. Toma looked at the tools and wires she held. Tell me what to do. Together, they worked quickly. Nira guided Toma's hands. They connected wires, repaired circuits, and adjusted strange devices. The barn filled with soft hums and flashes of light. The ship's power grew. Outside, the Thorn ship moved. It sent out dark clouds that covered the sky, blocking the sun. The ground grew colder. Suddenly, small ships dropped from the big one. They were like black arrows, fast and silent. They flew toward the farm. Toma and Nira watched as the enemy scouts prepared to attack. Now, Nira said, activate the defenses. Toma hit a switch. The barn's old roof lifted, revealing a hidden weapon. It was not like the powerful guns of the Thorn, but it sent out a strong energy pulse. The pulse hit the first wave of scouts. They shook, then fell from the sky. But there were many more. Toma looked at Nira. We can't hold them all. She nodded. Then we fight smart. Using the bond, they moved together. Nira controlled the ship's defenses, sending beams of light that cut through the attackers. Toma used the traps and tools they had made to slow down the ground forces. The fight was loud and fast. Sparks flew. Machines exploded. But Toma and Nira did not give up. The Thorn grew angry. Their big ship sent a beam of red light toward the farm. The ground shook. Trees fell. Toma pushed Nira back. Get inside. She didn't move. We faced this together. The beam hit the barn. The roof cracked. The walls shook. Dust filled the air. Toma felt fear, but also something stronger. He stood tall. With a deep breath, he grabbed the crystal mark on his palm. It glowed bright blue. The bond pulsed with power. Suddenly, the ship's defenses grew stronger. Shields rose around the barn. The red beam bounced off like water on stone. The Thorn were surprised. They had never seen a human fight like this. Nira smiled. Your heart is stronger than their weapons. Toma smiled back. And your hope gives me strength. Together, they pushed the Thorn back. The enemy ships fell from the sky. The big ship retreated, disappearing into the clouds. The battle was won. But the war was not over. After the fight, Toma and Nira stood in the field. The sun began to break through the dark clouds. The air smelled of smoke and earth. Nira touched Toma's arm. You saved me. You saved Earth. Toma shook his head. We saved each other. She looked at the sky. My people will come soon. They will protect us. Toma smiled. Then I will be ready. Nira's eyes shone. You are more than human. You are a protector of worlds. Toma felt proud but humble. He looked at Nira and whispered, thank you for trusting me. She smiled softly. The bond is more than trust. It is friendship. The stars above began to shine again. A new day was coming. The days after the battle were quiet but full of change. The sky was clear, and the sun shone warmly over Vale Ridge. Toma and Nira spent their time repairing the barn and the broken parts of Nira's ship. The bond between them grew stronger. Every day, they understood each other better now, without many words. One morning, as Toma walked outside with Rin, a bright light appeared in the sky. It was not the Thorn ship. It was different, larger, and shining with blue and silver. Slowly, it came closer and landed in the field nearby. From the light stepped several beings like Nira. Their skin was silver and their eyes bright. They were the Velari. Nira smiled and ran to meet them. Toma followed quietly. The Velari greeted Nira with warm hands and soft voices. They looked at Toma with surprise and respect. "We have found you," their leader said, "and you have found a human bond." Toma stepped forward. "I'm Toma. I helped Nira when she crashed here." The leader nodded. "Your courage saved her, and by forming the bond, you saved many worlds." Toma felt a mix of pride and nervousness. He looked at Nira. She nodded gently. "You are now part of our story," the leader said. "The bond is rare between Velari and humans. It means a great future." That evening, Toma and Nira sat outside watching the stars. The Velari ships glowed softly nearby. Nira turned to Toma. "Your world is different from mine, but your heart is strong. You showed me kindness when I was lost." Toma smiled. "You showed me that humans are not alone in the universe." They both looked up at the sky, thinking of the long journey ahead. "We must be ready," Nira said. "The Thorn will return, but together we will face them." Toma nodded. "I will stand with you." The bond between them was more than just a link of minds. It was a promise, a friendship, a hope. In the following weeks, the Velari shared their knowledge with Toma. They taught him about the stars, about ships that could travel faster than light, and about ancient powers hidden in the universe. Toma listened and learned. He was no longer just a farmer. He was a protector, a bridge between two worlds. One day, the Velari asked Toma to join them on their next mission. They would travel to other planets to warn them about the Thorn. Toma looked at Nira. She smiled and squeezed his hand. "Are you ready?" she asked. He took a deep breath and nodded. "Yes, for the future, for Earth, for us." Before leaving, Toma walked through his farm one last time. He touched the trees, the soil, and the old wooden fence. Ren ran beside him, happy and free. He whispered, "Thank you for this home. I will carry it with me." Nira joined him. Together, they looked at the stars. A soft wind blew. It carried a whisper, not loud, not demanding, but clear. "Will you form a bond with me, human?" Toma smiled. "I already have." And with that, they stepped onto the Velari ship. The stars waited. Two worlds were now linked, and a new story was ready to begin.